everybody on my behalf. So my topic is in the area of detection, honoring the past, shaping the future. 3 bullets. Who am I shortly? Who is standing here? Something about where we are coming from, honoring the past in the area of detection. And then lastly, looking for the future, about the correct mindset. What are the required capabilities when heading in the future in the area of detection? So let's get into it. My name is Mika Rintamäki. I'm head of IT security in the P&C Insurance Company. I started 1998 as a security specialist, so working 24 years soon, full-time in the security area, coming from Turku, Finland. That's shortly about me. Let's get into it. So first of all, we need to honor the past, where we're coming from, what we have done so far in the area. We all recognize the NIST cybersecurity framework, which is really good framework for all of us. In the very technical level, in the higher level, structuring the work. It's very well functioning. I'm focusing the detection area. Most of us, I would guess, we have focused to collect the data from the firewalls, from the endpoint devices, from the identities to central place, CM. More data all the time, that's what we have been doing, to see what is happening on those security controls. Building dashboards, what the firewall is saying, what the endpoint is saying, maybe a little bit aggregating, combining the data as well, creating dashboards. Quite much manually. That's what we have done so far, I believe, many of us. So that was quickly about where we are coming from. And then I'm thinking about, okay, like the topic for the seminar is that future-proof. What are the capabilities for the future, years to come? I would like to start from the risk perspective. What kind of a risk? I'm pushing the button. Okay, now it works. Quite traditional risk landscape. Probably you all can recognize all these things. We have had those for years, and I think they will remain. They will not go away. So the ransomware is there on the right corner. It's been mentioned a few times here. It's developing. There's a new functions, new capabilities coming along to that threat. It will be there years to come. Critical vulnerabilities, Log4Shell has been mentioned, and others will come. That's an area we all have to focus, the vulnerabilities, because that's usually the low-hanging fruit, someone to come in. It will not go away. Supply chain attack. Nevertheless, it's a system which is updating from the cloud, SolarWinds or Codeco, or NPM, whatnot. They will continue to grow because it's quite easy for the attacker to attack the single place in order to get foothold to a large number of companies. It's easy, maybe at least. Well, depending what is easy. For instance, for the SolarWinds, when I was reading the reports, I think it was Brad Smith from Microsoft saying that it took approximately 1,000 skilled engineers to perform that attack. So it's not probably easy, but some can do that. Some of those are maybe not that difficult, but as a threat, it will increase. Denial of service attacks. We saw first our little bit bigger one early 2000. Now it's 2022. It's happening. It will continue. It doesn't go away. Quite traditional risk landscape. What more there is for the future? AI-powered cybercrime. Of course, the bad guys will use the new technology as well, not only the good guys. And maybe to mention in that area, maybe some of you saw 3 weeks ago, Biden administration in US launched those 2 memos for the quantum computing, that now it's the time to think about the risk. So that NIST will come out with a new quantum computing resistant standards is next year after that. And then all the companies should be ready with 2035. So giving the year 2035. So it's not that far future that the quantum computing is also coming to a claim to this area. Probably it's not the script kiddies who are using that firstly, but maybe the nation state actors. So AI, quantum computing, years to come, also threat vector. Internet of vulnerable things or Internet of threats, whatever is the IoT acronym you want to use. So it's increasing because there's much more to use. Miranai was an interesting concept when that was used, using the IoT devices for the DDoS attack. Every toaster has an IP, so that will be a challenge for the future. Cyber skills shortage. I have been recruiting many of you. It was mentioned earlier that there's quite a big demand for the skilled people. And that probably is one challenge for the future as well. Public cloud security failures. There's a lot of security investment in the public clouds. The platform as such, I would say it's pretty secure. There's a lot of things in place, a lot of investments. But then all of us who are using the cloud, especially in the IIS area, how we are configuring, how we are checking things. So like the Gartner prediction there that 2025, 99% of cloud security failures will be the customer's fault. We are not actually configuring it properly, in the proper way. Something to keep in mind. So what is needed for the next decade? In my mind, first one, fundamentals, the right mindset. Assume breach. We all know about that, but it's just a reminder. It's really difficult for all of us to build 100% solid protection that nothing comes through, ever. It's really difficult, even, I don't know, impossible, at least if you want to communicate with the people and offer web services and web pages and so forth. So the mindset needs to be that things might happen, there might be a breach, and therefore the detection is very crucial, very important. And then we are talking about war game exercises or testing your capabilities. What is your playbook when this thing is detected? Do you do red teaming or whatever different methods, crisis exercises for the cybercrime scenarios and so forth. So the mindset is one thing to start with. Okay, mindset, what are the other things there? What is needed in the future? Data, data, data. I mentioned in the past that we have been collecting this firewall endpoint and whatnot data in the history. We need to do that even more. It doesn't go away, but we need to actually have different kind of data as well. Business process data, IoT device data, cloud. So not focusing purely and only for the security control, but having broader perspective, vendors, partners. I think even more data is needed in the future to be better in this area. And second one, when we have a lot of amount of data, then the analytics comes important. That how we normalize the data, how we structure the data, so that we can actually aggregate and combine and build automation, what is coming later on. So the quality of the data, the normalization of the data is important. So it's really actionable later on. So that the target, of course, needs to be to achieve the cybersecurity objective. The data needs to serve that purpose. Then it's, of course, the automation. Nevertheless, it's a SOAR or robotics or XDR or automation scripting. What is the different wording we want to use? But it's needed in the future because there's so much data And we need to be quicker reacting for the relevant things. So we need to automate one way or another. So faster threat detection. And of course, it's helping to standardize that always when this thing is noticed, there's a standard way to react upon it. And of course, I need to mention the AI and machine learning as well. It will be the core component for all cybersecurity systems in the future. Most definitely, it's needed and it will be there. But I still think that there's way to go. At least some of the presentations I have seen under the AI, that we have AI here, and for me it looks like if then else loops, that when this happens, then this happens. So the actual real AI, I think we have some way to go. Or what do you think? We had a discussion on that one, huh? Yeah? You can, yeah, I just wait when you come to the stage. We can continue the debate. Yeah. But definitely a future thing. It will improve, and for that we need to have the data. Last but not least, don't forget the people. Even though it's quite so much tech stuff there at the beginning, we still need to have a good, skillful knowledge people to actually use all this, to normalize the data, to automate things, implement the machine learning, and so forth. So it's really important asset in all this for the future. And the challenge is what I had there in the risk slide, that there might be shortage. There's a demand on the market, but just hold on the good people you have working in this area. So what is the future target? Where we should aim at in this area of detection? Future-proof security operations seminar is the title there. So simply saying, fundamental thing is the mindset. You need to build all this on top of the assumed breach mindset. You have to think that things might happen. So how do I find the things in the border protection, if it's lateral movement, identity in the cloud, that when things go wrong, it can go wrong. So that's where you need to start. And then it's about early warning systems, that behavior analytics, which is important. We can feed a lot of good data to the ML or AI, that how we quickly have the indicators. Behavior analytics on the endpoint, on the identity on the cloud, on the network, on different places. Of course, the challenge might be that if the thresholds are low, there's quite much noise, but I'm hopeful that the ML, AI technology help us on that, so that there's not that much false positives. But we need to have the early indicators. Because what we need to achieve to lower the MTTD, mean time to detect. So with a lot of data, with a lot of technology, with the skilled people, how quickly can we see that something is happening? Because something will happen, smaller, bigger one, eventually. So that's what we are aiming at. And that's important for the future. And what capabilities we need to achieve that are the ones there in the previous head, where we had the data, we had the cyber analytics, we have the automation, we have the AI, ML, and the people. Combination of that, then we can start to reach that target. Thank you. Now you can challenge me.
Very, very exciting. Yeah, we had a discussion today about AI. Has anybody read The Age of AI? Henry Kissinger, the new book. Eric Schmidt, head of Google. Nobody? Read that book. It's a really cool book. And there's an entire chapter on cybersecurity. So I was a little bit disappointed in your presentation. I mean, according to a lot of things.
I think
you're saying it really well, that in the future, but I think that future, from what I'm reading from books like that, is that we are already seeing attackers. Okay, it's not self-learning AI yet, but we are seeing AI-assisted attacks a lot more. So I think that might be closer into the future than you might think, or am I wrong?
It could be, and if it's really by the definition AI, if it's just,
Yeah, but there are very levels of AI.
Yeah,
of course, there's like this sort of advanced automation, which you're saying is not AI, but some people say it is. But then is learning about how to defeat your attackers automatically, which is AI. And we're seeing some of that already.
Yeah.
So when are we going to see that at if P&C Insurance Company? What year? What month?
This year, this month. No.
But I'm sure it'll be in our near future. Any questions? Any comments on this? This is a very interesting topic. I'm looking at the chat as well, and I'm seeing that says the moderator is too excited about AI. It's good comment.
Very good observation.
I think that's a good point. I'm sorry. I'm going to calm down. We have a break soon. I'll have my coffee.
Yeah.
I'm just very excited because we're doing a lot of preliminary AI work in our company. That's why. If we have no questions, I had one planned for you. Of course, this one on AI was interesting, but then we actually had a scripted question for you.
Scripted question.
Yeah, but I also thought it was also based on all that you showed us, given your long experience in the field, and it was data, and we tend to focus on the cyber data, the digital data. What about business data that is both digitalized and not digitalized? How do you take into account a bigger scope of data that perhaps traditionally we have not looked at?
That's one area I'm thinking about because, our business is quite data intensive. So we have separate departments to ingesting the data and data analytics and so forth. So it's very core in the insurance business, that how could I actually to hook up to that and use that some extent in my field. So it's something we've been thinking of. That's why I mentioned that more data, business process data, which might serve and help on the cybersecurity area as well. So I think there's still road to go, and that was the future part. So we are not there yet, but that's the direction, I think.
Super. Are you ready for a cup of coffee?
I like coffee.
I love coffee.
Yeah.